joining us on Home Day. Great tips today if it is the first time you are buying your own space or even if you've been there for a while. Please welcome Kimberley Seldon, our designer right at the top of the show, looking amazing.
What a good audience.
They're so sweet.
They're a great audience today.
I never get over the City Line viewers. Like, I love them. I want to invite them all over for dinner, but I don't cook, so you can't come. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you where she lives. I'll do it.
You know, this is what I love about how we're starting the show is that so many of us watch these design and decor shows.
Yes.
And everything happens in 24 hours, right?
Yes.
Everything is redone and there's a top to bottom renovation and decor. And honestly, most of us are not living that life.
Right.
So,
which is why I refer to that stuff as house porn.
yes.
Not very realistic.
It's not
really,
realistic. You want to have some money that you can go buy a 2 for still and have a nice space. So we want to talk about how much you need to spend in each year, year 1 to year 5. You should have a 5-year plan. That's what you advise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful when we meet the client who says, I've got the budget to do the whole house top to bottom, but most of us remember our first place or our first upgrade to a bigger home and the challenges of being able to fill it with furniture on the limited budget that we have. So coming up with a plan at the beginning is a really smart investment in your future enjoyment of that space. So for example, for a 5-year plan, I recommend very strongly, I know a lot of you want to do your decorating yourself, great, but you should at least hire a professional to give you a floor plan so you know for the next 5 years, I need a sofa that's this big, I need chairs that are this big and no bigger, I need a carpet that's this big, you know what I mean? All that detail can be worked out early on paper, and then what style and what color, up to you. You don't have to worry about it after that point.
That's what's cool about designers, though. You can be the initial person that just does the plan, or you can be the person that does the plan and everything else.
Exactly.
But getting that plan is crucial.
Getting the plan is crucial because we have this beautiful sofa. This came from Urban Barn. If you're going to move into a new place, chances are the very first purchase you're going to make is a sofa because you need somewhere to sit.
Yeah.
But do I need a sofa that's a sectional? Would it fit? Should the leg be on the left or on the right? Or would I be better with 2 sofas? You know what I mean? You need to know that. So starting with the sofa, spend as much as you can possibly afford on a great sofa. Choose something that's in a neutral fabric because this has got to last you a long time. Unlike an accessory, a vase or something that you could trade up in a couple years if you're tired of it, you don't want to have to get rid of this in a couple of years. So make sure you're making a really smart choice. And then in year 1, if you have this and a refrigerator and a television set so you can watch City Line, you're good to go. That's right. And my daughter just moved in with her fiance and he plays, what do you call it, like Xbox or whatever?
Yeah, like PlayStation.
So the TV was really, really important, but you could stack it on orange crates. You don't have to buy a TV stand in year 1, not important. Year 2, then you start getting into things like a coffee table, a side table, a sofa table, and you buy them as you can afford them, you budget for them, but what's key is you already know exactly what size you need, so you don't pull the dreaded, oh my gosh, it's too big or too awkward, and then we know what happens. You go, I'll just live with it. Like for the next 5-6 years, you're walking around something that's an eyesore that's making you uncomfortable. So getting that plan at the beginning is really critical. So big purchases, sofa and tables, that kind of stuff in years 1 and 2.
What do you think of people who might go out and buy, like sometimes when I'm in a space and it's not done yet, I think to myself, I'm just going to buy this temporarily.
Right.
Is that a good idea?
I think money is really hard to come by. I would much rather, and I grew up this way, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. You know, my mom worked, my dad worked, and we had to be careful with the clothes we bought. My mom would say buy 2 really great outfits and switch them around and they'll last you for 5 years versus going out and buying 10 outfits that are going to fall apart and get pills. And, I don't like this idea of disposable, so I would rather, and we had a 5-year, we had a 10-year plan. My husband came home from work one day and he said, he looked in our living room, there's no coffee table after living there for 10 years, and he said, I've noticed that all of our friends have coffee tables. You know? So you can be very happy living without a few things. It doesn't, you don't have to have it all today. You don't have to have it all today.
All right, let's bring Karen Seeley in. So we've talked about year 1 and year 2. We're going to talk about year 5 or year 3, 4, 5 a little bit later. Give Karen Seeley a big hand. Hey, honey.
We kissed you, but you're too far away.
That's okay. Got it. So, let's talk about this whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year plan, but when it comes to planning a space, and renovating.
Yes, I love that we're talking about planning.
Yeah.
Because so often clients will call, I mean, particularly this time of year, and say, oh, I want stuff done for the holidays.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know, we really needed to start 4 months, 5 months, 6 months ago. And the great thing about starting ahead of time is, like Kimberly said, you can plan for a sofa, plan for a coffee table, and now you can start watching the sales.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Or you
You're
can go to a
poised and ready.
consignment store and you might find something amazing and you can actually refinish it yourself. Or you might be doing a big renovation and you get the floor plans done. Put the furniture in the floor plan, because I find a lot of times, don't you find that clients will get it and it's really hard to visualize a space, and they think, oh, in fact, this happened to my own brother. He had some, you know, plans drawn up ages ago, and I looked at it and I said, you guys have a king size bed, and do you know it's not going to fit in your new master suite? Like, you're putting an extra story on your home.
Yeah.
So
Often the builders will provide plans, but not provide floor
Exactly.
plans to scale, and you really must have. And you want to be able to anticipate, if you're going to be doing a build, then you know what, maybe I'm not going to put an expensive wallpaper on the living room right now. It would be a waste of money.
Right.
So I'm just going to move that later. So I'm going to put up a nice, you know, neutral paint color that's temporary, that I can enjoy for a couple of years until the build project happens.
Okay, so plan. And if you are going to plan further renovations, you have to be careful about what you're purchasing and where you're putting things.
Exactly.
If you want a powder room a little bit later on, you know, you can't do it in year one.
Exactly.
You have to plan for that, right?
Well, and planning, sometimes you need a professional for the services part of it. Like, where's your plumbing stack? And for example, if we're going to put stairs in eventually, you know, we're probably going to want to stack the stairs over top of one another. So what's on that side of the house? And access for getting furniture in. For example, we've done a lot of basement renovations where it's really narrow stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And so we've taken big windows out, brought furniture in through the window before the new windows went in.
Yeah.
So that furniture's going with the house.
That's right.
you're
I've
building
seen
from-
mattresses being hoisted up to
Exactly.
third floors in houses in Toronto.
And if you're building from scratch, I know, for example, our country house is our forever house. So we have it planned where an elevator would go in the event we need to add an elevator. We don't have an elevator now,
that's
but we don't have to
smart.
renovate. We moved 2 closets, we have an elevator chute.
Right.
So it's, you know, the planning on paper, it may seem expensive, but it's
Yeah.
really the best value you can do.
Well, now I want an elevator. All right, let's go to break. It's home day. Stay with us. We're coming up.